Why are you guys protesting?
We're fighting for the humane and ethical treatment of animals.
So you want everyone to be vegetarians? Some nutrients could only be found in animal products, and I don't think that's feasible.
No, we get that not everyone wants to be vegans. We just want you to consider the type of life they're living to provide you a cheap product. A lot of these animals have shortened lives and are treated very poorly.
If you want, we can walk you through Metro and show you some examples.
Okay, I'd really appreciate that.
Okay.
From there.
I know.
And I'm quite
This is a fellow activist.
So what you come in here to buy?
Just some essentials, milk, eggs, bread.
Where is that located in the store?
I believe it's located at the back.
You're right. It's the store's marketing team. The essentials are located in the back of the store so that you walk past all the goods and attempt to get impulse buy.
Wow, I never considered it like that before. It makes so much sense now.
What do you initially notice about the meat section?
The meat looks very marble, fresh, vibrant in color, juicy, and the shelves seem very stocked with a wide variety.
Yes, the most appealing meats are placed at your eye level, and they're usually pricier than the rest. Now, if you look below, the meat's quality isn't the same as above. It's not below anymore.
Oh, wow.
But that used to be over there.
Okay.
This is done to grab the consumer's attention. Also, if you glance at the sales tags, they're usually like red or yellow,
Uh-huh.
as it's believed these colors are associated with hunger.
Oh, no way. Now that I think about it, a lot of fast foods incorporate these colors. If older meat is placed below, wouldn't the chances of it being sold decreases?
Usually what happens is that the older meat goes on sale to create an incentive to buy. For example, this one right here, it expires tomorrow. But unfortunately, these sales occur the day of expiry or the day before expiry, which decrease the chances of it being sold. Once the meat is expired, it goes to waste. And did you know that if a lazy shopper changes their mind and puts the the meat outside of a refrigerator and just leaves it there, that meat also goes to waste. An example of meat that is wasted is this one right here. As you can see, it's been expired since February 12th, and this will now just go to the garbage.
Oh, no way. All of them?
Well, just this one as of now.
Okay, I see. But there's so many starving people in the world.
You're right. Not only in the human perspective, but for the animals we supposedly eat too. While we fatten up 2 billion cattle worldwide for human consumption, a lot of which just ends up being thrown out, about 1.1 billion people worldwide go hungry. The shelves are full to make it appealing for the consumer, but the environmental impacts of keeping the shelf stocked are very disappointing.
What environmental impacts? Now I think you guys are just trying to fill my head.
That's not our intention. Remember, you're the one that agreed to go on this tour. Just look at where the meat is sourced from. This one is sourced from, for example, this lamb imported from New Zealand has negative impact on their environment because the distance is traveled. Think of all the emissions from the vehicle coming from the other side of the world versus purchasing local meat.
That's an exception. A wide variety of meat is said to be produced by Canadian farmers.
Just because they're locally sourced doesn't necessarily mean they're environmentally friendly. In Canada, when cows mature, 70% of them are sold to feedlots in Alberta, where their grain is finished. Then they're sold once more to about a dozen meat packaging plants. They're flown around the country and transported long distances in crowded conditions. Because of this, millions of animals each year die due to heat stress or extreme cold.
I never really thought of the back end process. When I think of food, I just think of the supermarket. Ignorance is a bliss, I suppose.
There's a lot of practices that would make you second guess your choices, such as manure.
Such as what?
Manure.
Manure. Don't tell me they mix manure and ground meat.
Oh, no. Well, I hope not. What I was trying to say was naturally raised cows are a part of our environmental cycle. Their manure is used as fertilizer to provide nutrients to the plants. When the cows are fed antibiotics and hormones to fatten them up or produce more dairy, their manure becomes toxic for the environment. The cows begin to produce methane gas, and it has resulted in our ozone layer deteriorating.
Ozone layer deteriorating. I disagree. Although the manure is no longer useful as fertilizer, it serves a purpose as it can be turned into renewable energy.
True, but the negatives overpower the positives in this case. Factory farms in the US alone produce 6 times the fecal matter of all the humans on Earth. That's a lot of shit to dispose of. There are reports of about 20 to 30 dangerous spills per year just in Ontario. The manure contains so many antibiotics and hormones such as RBST. It's considered an inferior fertilizer.
Too much information. I'm getting dizzy. What the heck is RBST now, and why is it given to cows?
RBST is illegal in Canada and Europe, but the US continues to use it. It's given to cows to produce more milk, but the increased hormone levels in the cows make them 40% less fertile and cause other health issues. Milk in Canada was only produced by Canadian farmers under MME. But in October 2018, the US received permission to sell their dairy in Canada as well. This means some of the RBST produced milk may be circulating in our markets.
I remember that political debate. I never knew it had such an impact on our milk supply. I don't want to be drinking milk that has been produced by RBST. How can I distinguish Canadian milk?
Well, come, I'll show you. Okay, so there's a Canadian dairy farmers logo to distinguish the difference. Like this one right here.
Let's also talk about the crowding of animals into confined spaces. Farmers trying to maximize their profits and outputs try to cram as many animals into one area as they can, which can then encourage the spread of diseases, not to mention the greatly impact the animals' quality of life. The typical broiler shed is 150 by 14 meters and will hold more than 30,000 chickens. Over decades, selective breeding has been taking place, and due to that, if one of them gets sick, they all get sick.
Oh, wow. Okay.
While cattle also suffer from the effects of crowding, they require a lot more land than, say, a chicken. This can lead to farmers burning down forests to provide land for cattle. An estimated 200 square feet of rainforest is destroyed for each pound of Central American beef produced.
Equally alarming is the topic of antibiotics. Since animals are regularly dosed with them, the bacteria becomes stronger and stronger and is eventually immune to the antibiotics. Anyone who consumes the contaminated meat will host the evolved bacteria, which will be hard to get rid of due to the weak antibiotics.
Well, why don't I just shop organic? I'm lucky enough to be able to afford it, and with portions being smaller and costlier. From what I've heard, animals are raised more humanely and raised without pesticides and fertilizers.
Well, actually, animals raised organically have a higher mortality rate because medication isn't used. Also, as much as 80% of organic food is imported from outside Canada, which, as you know, has a negative impact on the environment via emissions to transportation. Organic as a label is also not well regulated. It's certified by independent agencies, not the Canadian government. So organic could mean anything. Ultimately, it's up to you to do your research on the company's organic supply, processing procedure, and their source.
Oh, okay, I see.
So let's just touch upon ground beef before we move on. As you can see, this sign. And now the ground beef is located over there. Very inconvenient, by the way. While not technically processed meat, there is no guarantee that all the meat came from one animal.
Well, that's pretty off-putting. What can you tell me about seasoned meat? Like this one.
Well, check out the price. Just by adding a bit of seasoning, stores can increase the price of the whole product by a noticeable amount. It's the cost of convenience. So before we head to the processed meat section, take a look at this.
Oh, they put seasoning right next to the meat section so they can make more sales if people buy fresh, unseasoned meat.
Exactly. Now let's take a look at some processed meat. So take a look at these ingredients. We have mechanically separated meats, chicken and or pork and or turkey and beef. And we also have a bunch of fillers, we have preservatives. This allows it to have a longer shelf life. This is expired for probably a month and a lower price as well. It's only $2.99 for this entire thing of meat. Also take a look at the bacon. So this isn't cooked yet and it's $4.49 compared to this one, which is already cooked, and it's $6.49.
So that's the end of the tour. Do you guys want to exit?
Well, hold on. I have a few questions. I'm one person out of 7.5 billion people in the world. How can I change the food industry alone?
Well, every little bit helps. You can start by reducing your consumption of meat rather than going full vegan. Ever heard of Meatless Mondays? It's a public health awareness campaign from World War I that has addressed excessive meat consumption.
You can also learn about where your meat and eggs come from and get involved in your government by learning about the laws pertaining to factory farming. Maybe even contact your local representatives about your concerns.
Wow, there's so much I didn't know. Can I join you guys?
Sure.
Fight for animal rights.
Fight for animal rights. Fight for animal rights.